morning. It's Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. We have a very special show planned for today, and I'm thrilled to be here to bring it to you. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of HCC's English and Communications, and I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Nicholas Cox, the Interim Dean for Liberal Arts and Humanities. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Good morning. How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. It was busy. I don't even know what happened. It was like it's Friday and then it was Monday. How about you?
Sounds about right. I spent maybe a few hours on Saturday working in the morning, and I did not work at all yesterday, but I had lunch with my mother, which was nice. So a pretty
Oh,
pretty relaxing weekend.
that is fantastic. I know your mother appreciated that.
That's right. That's right.
And today we are excited to celebrate our veterans, and we're so happy everyone's able to join us. We are live on HCCTV whenever HCC is in session. But how can people find us, Nick?
Yeah, we are. We're also live on the Houston Community College District's Facebook page, and we're on YouTube. We're on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Today is also Mental Health Monday, and today we will have an Army veteran who only recently left active duty. She will share some resources for others in need. I'm very happy to welcome Autumn Pequeno, Marketing Director for North Star Land Title and a U.S. Army veteran. Good morning, Autumn.
Good morning.
It's great to have you here today. We're going to do an interview with Dr. Perez first, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you.
See you in just a minute. We're talking to a guest who is speaking to HCC vets today about his journey from active duty to civilian to Dean. We are happy to welcome Dr. Martin Perez, Dean of Student Success for HCC Southeast. Good morning, Dr. Perez.
Good morning.
I was so happy to see you also. I was lucky enough to be at the luncheon on Friday where you received a very special award. Can you tell us a little bit about that to get us started?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Amy. Good morning to everyone here. But yes, I mean, I was surprised as everyone else. They told me I was going to be there. They told me I thought Southeast was going to be recognized because we have a veteran center that we created here. And that's what they had told me. So when I was there and they were talking, they made me sound so good. I mean, I was like, man, is that me they're talking about? But I was really honored. And I was waiting for them to talk about the center we have here at Southeast. And so they went on and they went on. So I have to say, I was really surprised and really touched. I think when everything you go through, it feels good to be recognized. And I think that's something that is hard for me to accept and for a lot of individuals to accept also.
It was a beautiful luncheon. I thought everything, the chancellor was there, our vice chancellor for senior vice chancellor for instruction was there. Almost all the presidents were there, yeah. Many of the vice presidents. So it was a lovely with a lovely panel from some of our veterans speaking about the jobs that they do here at HCC. Or we had a student, Victor, he was just incredible.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, well, congratulations on a well-deserved honor. Today, though, Student Life, VMAS, and others are partnering with you to offer a luncheon for our student vets, and you will be the featured speaker. Tell us what's going on?
Well, of course, every year we like to celebrate our veterans. This year we have a bigger focus on our students who are veterans. Coming out of the pandemic, usually we had a bit of larger events to invite some of our community, but we're seeing more and more of our student veterans who are coming to school. That's one of the reasons we created a veteran center here at the Southeast campus. And I think there's some in different locations, but today it's just about honoring, I think, the veterans are active. We have some who are active, they're active serving right now, and they're on either through the reserves or other ways. But I think it's just a way of coming together and just saying thank you.
Absolutely. And, there's so many veterans in our own lives that we want to make sure we recognize and honor. And HCC wants to recognize all of our veterans across the system. And I know, when I'm working with veterans, either in an advising capacity or as in my role as dean or as a faculty member, we want to make sure that they feel that they belong here and that they're supported here and that HCC cares about their journey. And I know that we recently started an ROTC program, and that it can be, there's lots of reasons why people join the military, but it can also be a wonderful way and wonderful access to further your education. But I want to get back to you. Tell me a little bit about your journey from your service to civilian life, and also remind us what branch you served in and when that was.
Well, I served in the United States Navy from 1990 to 94. So I was in the first Gulf War. The way it happened, we're in boot camp, of course, cell phones and everything else. I mean, so we don't know what's going on. Then we start hearing some of these rumors of things happening. So we're out of boot camp. I did about 5-6 weeks of classes, and then they flew me and shipped me all the way to the Middle East. And so that's how quick it was, right then. So 1994, then when I came back, I did a stint in the Air National Guard also while I was going through college. I think it just was so many challenges you go through, and one of those is just kind of like finding your place, which I think we'll talk about a little bit here. But I mean, right out of high school, I lost my mother to cancer within a year, so I was going through a lot, not knowing what I wanted to do, not knowing where I was going, and of course, I ran into somebody who says, "Hey, why not the military?" And being young, not knowing what to do, I said, "Okay, why not?" And things like that. So I was going to go reserves. The next thing you know, I'm raising my hand. I do solemnly swear, and they're shipping me off to boot camp, and that's basically how it happened.
That's amazing, and we do thank you for that service. And you must have been pretty young.
Yes, I was. Again, it's a couple years after high school. After losing my mother, I didn't know what to do. I was doing a lot of crazy things. I won't go into details, but so I think the military kind of helped me get back and get focused and try to figure out what I want to do with my life.
So it gave you that focus, that direction that you needed in that moment. And then when you came back from that experience, what was it like for you transitioning? What were some of your challenges? What was a triumph?
One of the first things I think, which when I think back on that, is being lost. I mean, I didn't know what to do, where to go. I mean, I was staying with my sister and her family, but again, I remember going through some depression. I remember going through like, what am I going to do now? I had no clue. And I think we have a lot more resources now for that, but I remember just feeling alone. I mean, here I am with all my buddies, and we're being told what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Every morning we get up, we muster, and here's the plan for the day. And all of a sudden, you have that structure, and all of a sudden you have no structure. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, what do I do now? So there were some challenges that I did face first coming out. And so it was just kind of wandering around and trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. I wasn't going to school. I didn't have a job at that time. It didn't take me long to get a job, but again, you feel lost.
Well, but you certainly ended up with a PhD, working at a community college. So something went right along the way. So give me a little bit of that before we get into some other questions.
Well, when I was in high school, I did a co-op at NASA. So when I came out, I apparently got another job. I was working in the warehouse. I was working in the mailroom at NASA. And I remember seeing these guys walk around in suits and ties and offices. And I was like, you know what? I could do that. So I put myself back into school, went into school. And then from there, it just like slowly, I guess, starts to develop. I remember the Veterans Center. Back then, I had to go see the veteran person. It wasn't even a center. It was a person. She said, do A, B, C, or D. I didn't even have a major, but I needed a major. So I went to see the counselor. I said, what do you want to study? I was like, I don't know. I remember talking to a buddy about sociology. So I said, sociology? Said, okay, here's the degree plan. He signed it. And that was the rest of it. I just followed my degree plan. I went to visit the veteran person and just got, what my GI Bill. Thank God, one of the things was that back then, the GI Bill, we didn't have to have it. We didn't have to take it. We had to pay into it. And I did that, just thinking, okay, again, I thought when I was going to the military, I'm going to come out, have my full career. I'm going to study something. But again, like I said, I came out totally lost. But that GI Bill did help a whole lot. And then from then on, I just went to school. I met my wife in college. And next thing I know, we're getting married, having kids. I go back to school. And then one of the things I'm grateful for is that getting my doctorate, I didn't have to pay anything using the Hazelwood. So a lot of people come out owing a lot of money. And especially during a dissertation piece, when you have to sign up and it takes about a year, maybe, or 2 years to write your dissertation, but it didn't cost me anything just because of the Hazelwood. So benefits of what I can say, I get from the military.
Real benefits, and you certainly put them to good use, Martine. And we're running out of time. I feel like I could go another 20 or 30 minutes with talking to you, and hearing from you. Before we let you go, can you talk a little bit about the sense of community and support and why it's so important for our veterans?
And I think going back to what I said when I first came out, I didn't know what to do, where to go. I remember just going on back then, I would say going online, but back then just trying to find some resources just to build a resume and things like that. When today, I mean, you can go online and get a lot more information. But again, it's just you feel, I guess alone. You're with all your buddies, you're there. You have a sense of purpose because every day you wake up, no matter what your job is, you know what you're going to do. You're there to serve, you're there to, and do things. Now you come out, you're like, now what? And so I think having that community support, having that family support, even though they are there, you still look for some of the people who you can relate to. And that's what we get when we meet other veterans. It's that relationship. And even today, I have a couple of buddies from almost 30 years ago now that we still talk, we still communicate and things like that. We still rag on each other like we did back when we were there, and it's a lot of fun. So you just building those friendships from way back when. And even today, I think the sense of pride that I think doesn't leave you no matter what. And
no matter what.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, no, and it's wonderful to have you here working for us at Houston Community College and doing all the amazing work that you're doing. And we, of course, want to make sure our students feel supported. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Martine Perez, Dean of Student Success for HCC Southeast. We're going to have all the information in our post after the show. Thanks, Dr.
Thank you, Amy, Dr. Tan.
After a commercial break, Nick will visit with our Mental Health Monday guest, and you'll get to hear about services offered through the VA.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
Well, we are back with our Mental Health Monday guest, Autumn Pequeno, Marketing Director for North Star Land Title and a U.S. Army veteran. Autumn, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, just like we did with Dr. Perez, we want to ask you to talk a little bit about your experiences in the Army. I understand you were in the Army, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I actually got out last year, July of 2023. So I'm a newer veteran. I was a human resources for 36th Engineer Brigade up at Fort Hood, also known as Fort Cavazos now. And I did human resources for about a little over 3,000 soldiers, worked with a lot of them on a day-to-day basis and got that really good interaction and got to see and do and just hear from everybody about their experiences compared to my experience being human resources for them. So it was great.
Well, we have a lot of questions we'll get to, but I wanted to know, did you share a similar experience to Dr. Perez where you come out of active duty and you're sort of unsure about how to spend your time, what to do, what next without that structure?
So for me personally, I did not. I kind of had it set up. I actually went in a little bit later in life. I went in as 25 years old instead of 18, fresh out of high school. And I had already had a spouse and a child, and I actually had another child while in the military. And so I kind of prepared myself for transitioning out. And I made sure that I had all of those things set up prior to, but I also had the knowledge, and they also have a lot more they also have a lot more classes and everything like that for transitioning out than they did back then as well. So it's a lot different and it's better.
Yeah. So more transition assistance, and you were not alone. You had a family.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, in discussing what the Veterans Administration offers to our vets in way of mental health care, tell me a little bit about comprehensive support access. What is that?
So the comprehensive support access helps veterans with mental health, even if they're not enrolled in the VA healthcare. A lot of veterans actually aren't enrolled, and despite that, they can help them with PTSD, depression, anxiety, anger management, and adjustment to civilian life.
Now, are veterans that are not enrolled in the VA typically maybe they're enrolled in insurance plans through their employer or something else instead? Is that why?
So sometimes they are. It just depends on the veteran. I know some veterans, they have a hard transition out. They come from high school into the military where they're told what to do, and then they transition out and they didn't get those classes that they needed, or something kind of went wrong in their transition. And so when they get out, they want that help from the VA, but they don't know where to start. So that's kind of where they're in that like middle way. And I hope that just something as simple as this today helps a veteran just go on and look and get enrolled.
Well, it's great to hear that they provide these services even to veterans who have not yet made that decision yet. So, this crisis support, it's available anytime, right? 24/7?
Yes, so it is available 24/7. All you have to do is call 988 and then press 1. You can also text in, and it's completely free and confidential. And a lot of veterans are the ones who are the responders, who are the ones who are answering. So it's a big deal whenever you're a veteran yourself and you're calling in with a crisis, and you're sitting here thinking, well, I'm just going to end up talking to somebody that that doesn't understand me. It doesn't understand what I'm going through. Well, it's actually a veteran on the line talking to you that does understand what you're going through and that has been there.
Right. That seems like it probably makes quite a difference. So the VA offers something that's called the flexible mental health care option. What is that? Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so they do offer it. It's in person or at the medical centers. And it's one of those things where it's more self-help, and it has where you can do through virtual or in person, depending on what you prefer. Myself, I actually go in person. It helps tremendously. And there are a lot of people who do virtual because they're always on the go.
So, you mentioned the vet centers, and I'm familiar with the big VA hospital in the Med Center on Main, but are there other like physical sites around the city that people can visit besides that one hospital?
Yeah, so the big downtown center, that's, of course, everybody knows it's the DeBakey Center. There's also one in Texas City. There's also one, I'm pretty sure, in Rosenberg, but they have little small centers around the Houston area that people can go to. The DeBakey Center in downtown is the main huge center that has everything. But the small little centers, especially for mental health, they have someone there for mental health at every small little center.
Now I see there are also telemental health services, which I guess people can do online. That surely offers more access as well, right?
Yes, it does. So those telehealths are a big game changer, especially for the VA, with people who are hesitant to come in person and are hesitant to just kind of make that first step of going into the VA and reaching out. It does help that it's they can do it in their own home, be comfortable in their own home, and just do it on their phone, and it makes a big difference.
Well, what is the Veteran Administration's peer support program?
So the peer support program, it's called Be There. It's an assistance program where it could be at the vet center, mostly at the vet center, just because it is in person. So that way the vets can talk to each other and participate in a group counseling and be provided with network for those who understand.
Now, this last question that I have for you is about families, and I got to say, when you mentioned at the top of the interview that you had a couple of kids before and during your active service, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. And I'm not sure these two things relate directly. I'm not sure about your experiences, but the Veterans Administration offers family and couples counseling and services as well.
Yes, they do. So this is actually kind of a newer thing that the VA has actually been providing, where it offers families, couples, and bereavement counseling, ensuring comprehensive mental health support, and it extends beyond individual care. So before they had just the individual veteran care, but like my spouse, my spouse was not a veteran; he was never in the military, and so there are those transitions of, well, he doesn't understand to a certain extent of my experience as a veteran, and he was on the civilian side of it. He went through it with me. He went through the Army with me the entire way, but it's still a big difference, and it helps going to counseling, going to those counselors, especially at the VA, where they're like, okay, we have both of you involved and help both of you understand each other's aspects, and just have that little mediator of, well, what about this or what about this? And it's very nice that the VA is finally offering this, because it is a huge game changer, especially to involve the families.
Well, you just brought a lot of information about a whole range of services that the VA offers to our audience, and I really want to thank you and express appreciation for that, because a lot of this sounds, just urgent for our veterans, especially as they transition out or as they, continue with their lives long beyond leaving the service. So just let me thank you again, Autumn Pequeno, North Star Land Title, U.S. Army veteran, and our Mental Health Monday guest. We'll have more information about all of this in our posts after the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again. All right, coming up after a quick commercial break, Amy and I will return with some news and announcements.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
And we're back with a few news items and announcements to share with you. The first off, we have the Veterans Day Luncheon that Dr. Perez was speaking about at Southeast College. As we discussed earlier in the show, the HCC Southeast campus will host a Veterans Day Luncheon for student vets from any branch of the military. The celebration is intended to celebrate the service and sacrifices of our veterans. That's going to be today, Monday, November 11th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our East Side campus in the Student Life Center. So check the post after the show for more information on that event. And it always pays to advertise. Is that what I'm hearing, Nick?
That's right. I think there's a final night for this event. Ads stare us from billboards. They interrupt our favorite TV shows, and they target us in social media. But guess what? It's nothing new. The drama department's new production of It Pays to Advertise was written in 1914, and it explores the ever-changing landscape of advertising and the power of suggestion. So tonight's the final night, Monday, November 11th, at HCC's Central Campus stage, Murders Stage. See our post after the show for more information.
Yeah, that looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. We also have a career opportunity fair. HCC is hosting a career opportunity fair to connect with leading employers and boost students' career prospects. This event allows them to participate in on-the-spot interviews and access free resources and services such as career coaching, mental wellness support, giveaways, which we all love, and snacks. That is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, November 12th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at our West Loop campus. Be sure to check the post after the show for more information.
All right, you guys out there are going to have to make some choices, because we have another event tomorrow, same day, Tuesday, November 12th, from 10 to noon. And this is our UT Tyler transfer session. HCC students will have the opportunity to gain information about transferring to our partner university, UT Tyler. Check our post after the show for more information.
And we're really pleased as well. And this is our Family Scholar Program. This is for student parents, all of our students out there who are parents. HCC's Counseling and Ability Services will host a Family Scholar House program orientation for HCC's parenting students. They will learn about its programs, services, and housing. That's going to be Wednesday, November 13th from noon to 1 p.m. It is virtual on Teams, so hopefully you'll be able to access that from anywhere. Check our post after the show for more information.
And don't forget, spring registration is open. We offer classes at HCC across the city at multiple campuses on a variety of session lengths, and we have a range of class modalities, including traditional in-person classes, online on a schedule classes with virtual meetings, online anytime classes with no meetings. We offer in-person labs and hybrid labs as well. So to learn more about HCC programs, session dates, and options to cover your costs, go to hcc.edu/apply.
Well, and Nick, do you know, have you heard about this? We have a Sam Houston State professor who is joining us for the HCC History Speaker Series entitled When Death Came to Boston. Is this something that you're sponsoring?
Yeah, our history department has a speaker event about once a month, and I suppose this is the second or third of the semester, and it should be fun. I think this will be a virtual event, and I think April Paluca in the history department has been responsible really for organizing this. So I guess you guys will have her on, or maybe the guest on tomorrow as well.
And that's going to be talking about a public health crisis in Boston.
That's right.
Yeah, so that looks great. Well, thanks for joining me, Nick. It's always good to see you on Monday morning.
I'll see you again soon.
That's right. And later this week, we'll be talking about the Greek Film Festival and more Houston events coming up. So happy Veterans Day again to all of you out there who've served. We appreciate your service, and we're so thrilled to have you as part of our community. And we thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.